Hey guys, it's Quana back again with another review, another recap, another Tuesday night, another This Is Us. Welcome back to my channel. So glad you could be here. Um, there is a lot to talk about tonight, to break down and discuss. So let's get into it. First of all, shocker and spoilers all around for This Is Us Season 5, Episode 4. If you have not watched it, come back after you've watched it because I'm not only going to recap, but I'm going to share my theories on what is going on. So, first of all, first shocker of the night, at the end of the show, they shocked us with January 5th as This Is Us returns. I'm like, hold up. Y'all don't get to go on break after 4 episodes. Like, yes, y'all usually take a holiday. And yes, the season did start late, but it's only been 4 episodes. And let's not confuse things because of the election. Really only 3 episodes for us fans. Really only 3 episodes because 1 and 2 were together. Then we got 3 last week. And now we have 4. And that is it. I am feeling some kind of way about this, and you should be too. But we're going to have a whole lot of grace for our people because we're going to trust their process. We're going to trust they're going to give us what we need. So I'm just saying, Mandy's pregnant, and I'm going to need them to make sure that we get what we need before she has to go on maternity leave. Okay, so let's talk about the episode. So in the episode, we are picking up pretty much right where we left off. And I'm going to start with Kate and Toby. So Kate and Toby are still going through the process of going through the adoption. And Kate gets to accompany their potential mom to her ultrasound. It was a cute little scene. But one of the things that happened is that Kate accidentally shares with her the name that they're planning to name the baby, which is like a big no-no because as the mom is trying to go through this process, she's going to want to distance herself as much as she can from the baby and not feeling like it's her baby and feeling completely secure in her decision. They share the name Chloe, which I was like, oh, that's so cute, Chloe and Jack. But it's not going to be Chloe, y'all, because as we find out in the parking lot, Chloe was the name of some little girl who tried to cozy up to her man back in the day and was trying to, break them up. And so she's like anything but Chloe. And of course, Kate is going to follow along with that. In real time, Kevin is kind of going through the audition process, going through the initial reading for this new movie with some big shot director named Foster. And surprise to all of us Lovecraft fans, Jamie Chung was in the house. I love Jamie Chung. She just, in everything that I see her in, every time she pops up on my screen, I am pleased as pie. I think that people don't give her enough credit for, really for someone who got their roots in the real world. MTV's the real world, literally. She is a really good actress, and people just don't love on Jamie enough. They don't provide enough roles for Asian Americans in general. So we just love to see it. Side note, I would love to see her and Steven Yeun together in something. They're both Korean Americans. I think that would be amazing to get them together on screen together. So Steven, Jamie, if you ever watch this, make it happen. Make it happen. But he is reading through his lines with her. And this director is really not feeling him. He is cutting after every second word that Kevin says. And it really draws back to Kevin's time as a kid and trying to make the football team and trying to be successful on the football team. And he feels like he's really working hard. And, of course, Kevin tends to give up on a lot of things and he has to fight for it. His career seemingly has been a career of luck, and this is not going to be easy for him. He's going to have to push through with this. Ultimately, he goes to the director and he's like, hey, can you give me some direction? And the director calls him out on it. He's like, what do you need, an attaboy? Because you're not going to get it from me. And we kind of see Kevin taken aback by that. Nobody's ever challenged him in that way before. And I'm going to come back to how this is going to play out at the end in a culmination of a discussion between he and Kate. He talks about this director and how difficult things are. And then Kate's like, okay, yeah, I hear you complaining, but about your big Hollywood problems, and yeah, you want to get an Oscar for Mom, and that's really sweet, but you know, other people got issues too. And she brings up Randall and actually says, you know, have you ever thought about the fact that it must have really been hard for Randall growing up in our family, being black, where his parents are white, we're white. And Kevin just cannot really see it. He very softly admits to it, but at first he's just like, yeah, it probably was hard for him going to an all white school, but he never had it difficult at home. Our parents fawned over him, which is really not what we're seeing in the show this season. We're actually seeing the parents pay a whole lot more attention to Kevin and Kate. So it'll be interesting when he and Randall actually finally sit down and have a conversation. For all the people who have been like really anti Randall dealing with his blackness, talking about his blackness, I think that's going to be a really, really interesting conversation when they finally have it. It's quite obvious from Kate and Kevin's conversation that she's got some things on her mind, which we find out when she finally gets home and she and Toby are discussing what happened. And we find out that it's drawing up a lot of bad memories for her. And I correctly called it. I was like, oh, she got pregnant with oh boy that I can't remember his name, who was an abusive jerk. And she possibly had an abortion, or because this is us, y'all, she could have given up the baby for adoption. She could have had a baby and given this baby up for adoption in the past. And this could be something that we're going to find out about later on. And maybe this could be the thing that causes division between her and Toby. Because again, remember, we have not seen Kate in any of the flash forwards. And it seems like Toby has not been with the family in quite some time at that flash forward part. Of course, we don't know because this is us and they like to trick us. But that could be something. It could be that definitely we see her younger Kate in the flashback taking a pregnancy test and it's positive. So where's the baby? Either she had an abortion, she gave it up for adoption, or she lost it. And it's this is us. So my money is on adoption. But that being said, it could be an abortion storyline because they really haven't addressed that. All right, so I don't even want to get to Randall yet because he probably had the biggest OMG moments. So we did get to see we did get to see Rebecca and Jack tonight, which was really nice, and two flashbacks because they're giving us as much as they can of the actors, which is really, really nice. Of course, we go all the way back to the babies, and because they are filming in real life COVID times, we don't actually see any of the babies. So we see them struggling to put the babies to sleep, and Kevin is crying and crying, which ties into Kevin's storyline. This episode really was very heavily Kevin focused, even though it kind of spent some time with Kate and Randall as well. With all the flashbacks, you could see that Kevin really was the focus of this episode. And so Kevin is crying and crying and crying, and Rebecca just wants to go in and hold him. And Jack is trying to convince her, no, you just got to let him cry it out. He's got to get used to sleeping on his own. And she's really struggling with that. And I get it, because the first thing I said when he was crying, and she looked and she said, it's been 30 minutes. And Jack was like, no, it's been 6 minutes. And I was like, girl, I understand. Just put that baby in the bed with you and get some sleep. Y'all were tired. I'm tired listening to the baby. Well, in the teenage year flashback, we see Kevin is struggling with football. His coach is really riding him, giving him a hard time, telling him he has to eat 50 eggs in like a week or something, like just to build muscle. Remember that last episode, we saw those body image issues kind of coming up for him. And so we really see like the positives, but also the negatives of being an athlete for Kevin. And one of those things is his memory and his ability to study and work hard. We know that Kevin has had an issue with school in the past. And so one of the things that finally helps him after Rebecca and Jack argue or disagree with how to help him and that they should not let him quit, he actually goes to his brother Randall for Randall's color-coded note card system, and Randall helps him to memorize his lines. It was a really sweet moment, and just as the way that Rebecca was touched, I was very touched. But again, it made me realize, I hope that Kevin realizes that his brother is the reason why he's as good of an actor as he is, because he gave him that system of helping him to memorize lines and things like that. And we actually see adult Kevin later on in the evening sitting down and memorizing his lines with those rainbow color card methods. Ultimately, he does start to study his lines. And of course, we do know that he goes on to be quarterback because we've seen all that. So we know that he's successful. And it's all about Kevin learning how to do things on his own, learning how to stick with things, how to power through things, how to persevere. And so he really got the main storyline of the night. But Randall, okay? Randall, Sterling K. Brown earlier today tweeted, I said, is the bromance over? And so I was like, oh no, Malik and Randall cannot break up. Like, they are one of my favorite things to look forward to in this show. And of course, you guys know that Malik is Deja's boyfriend. Well, he is doing an internship or trying to get an internship with Randall at City Hall. And so he goes in and going through the day, he shows up 6 minutes late. He's sleeping during the conferences and the meetings and things, and so it's not looking good for him. But so far, nothing too disturbing has gone. And then we find out he has to be in control of the live feed that Randall's going to do for his town hall meeting. As soon as they said that, I was like, oh no, he's going to record something he's not supposed to. There's going to be a conversation that goes aired. I was not prepared for what actually happened after the live feed ended and Malik had gotten a call about his daughter not having the teething rings that she needed or something, and he was distracted and didn't stop the feed. And Randall starts to strip on camera. Some things you just can't unsee, and you can't unsee Randall Pearson half naked dancing on camera as the councilman. I just was trying to think about if that was in real life, how explosive that would be. And it is, it goes viral. They're talking about 100,000 views. I'm pretty sure by like later on that night, it would be up to like millions of views. Like they probably should have even given it a bigger number because 100,000 is not that big in this day and age. And with TikTok, these Generation Zers would have had that thing and they were clipping it and making memes of it, and it was the most hilarious thing. I was with Beth. Let me know when you're good so we can all laugh at it because it was hilarious. But it doesn't break up the romance. They're still cool. They have a really good heart to heart conversation about the sacrifices that parents often have to make for their kids. And one of the things that Randall tells him is don't sacrifice your dreams because it's not going to do your family any favors. It's better to have a bigger dream and to dream big and let all of those big dreams come because that's what's going to bring you the most happiness and you'll be a better person for your family. And we found out Malik is not stifling his dreams. He has big dreams to be a chef. It was so sweet to see him be so level-headed and talk about his plans and really see that this is really a strong young man. It's good to see that representation. I thought that this scene was really interesting. So anyone who has seen Lovecraft Country, there's a really big conversation around this idea of having big dreams and holding yourself back for your family, for your loved ones that we get with the character of Hippolyta. And it was interesting to see this from the Black male perspective because in the Black female perspective on that show, she had to hold all of that down and temper all of that until she could finally not hold it in any longer. And she needed to experience life in order to be able to give her daughter a bigger vision for the future. And it was that same awakening, that same idea of you have to dream big because otherwise you cannot pass those dreams on to your loved ones if you don't have a big enough dream for them. So it was interesting to see that from this perspective. But the most important thing that comes out of this is because of that viral video, the guy over in Vietnam who we saw the picture of Randall's mom, Laurel, with the guy, he sees the video. He hears Randall on the video before the naked dance, talk about his dad because he was talking about his dad and what his dad meant to the community and what the community meant to his dad. And he says his dad's name. And this guy must have heard about William because he recognized the name too. Now, William's name is either William Hill or William Hall. I always forget his last name. Hope it's not William Hall. That'd be interesting. But it's not an uncommon name, but I guess he's putting two and two together and he figures out maybe there's a shot. So we definitely get clues that this guy is connected to Laurel. So for all of the people who were like saying, is that Zoe in the picture? No, it ain't Zoe. Is it Annie in the picture? No, it ain't Annie. It's definitely Laurel. This guy knows Laurel. He knows her history. And somehow or another, this guy is going to be, is the component that's going to get Randall to know his family, whether it's his mom or a sibling or something. He's the missing ingredient, and I cannot wait. So dang it, this is us for making us wait until January 5th. Now, theories. So my theories are that definitely Kate had an abortion or gave a baby up for adoption in the past, and that's going to be something we're going to see unearthed in the next season. I definitely hope and pray that we get more of Jamie Chung. If this was literally like Jamie Chung was in all of 2.5 minutes of this show, if this is literally all we get of Jamie Chung, I'm going to be really upset. Wouldn't it be really amazing if she ends up being a love interest for Kevin? Because let's be honest, I personally do not think Kevin and Madison are going to last. I think Madison doesn't really want to have these kids. I think she's going to have them. I think she's going to give them up to Kevin and he's going to get custody of them. But wouldn't it be nice if we got Jamie Chung as his love interest? I don't know. Wishful thinking on my part. And I definitely think that the Vietnamese man is going to reunite Randall with his mom or his siblings. It's still a little unclear as to the timeline of when he would have been with Laurel and whether his granddaughter is actually Randall's little niece or something. That's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out. I'm not 100% certain about that. But yeah, this was a very exciting episode because we're starting to get pieces and now we have to wait until January 5th. So do me a favor and in the comments below, I want you to tell me what you think is going to happen when we get back to the show in January. And are there any things that you want to see? Are there any things that you're hoping, any characters that you want them to bring back? Because we haven't seen Nikki this season. We haven't seen Zoe. There's so many characters that we haven't seen that they could bring back. Sophia. So there are a lot of characters that they could bring back. Who would you like to see them bring back in the upcoming episodes? Let me know down in the comments below. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos. And guys, until next time, toodles!